Assalamualaikum and hi students. I would like to continue chapter number 8 about population growth. Two types of population growth, which are exponential population growth and logistic population growth. Okay, we look at exponential growth, population growth first. This is actually about adding individual, okay, at an increasing rate over the time. If a population were suddenly presented with an unlimited environment, for example, when a small number of bacteria, plants or animals are introduced into a suitable but unoccupied habitat, it would tend to expand exponentially. Okay, so this is about J-shaped curve. So as you can see from this slide, this is actually J-shaped, that what I've told you before. And if you look at that, they are number 1 and number 2. Number 1 is actually a region of the curve where there is a little, if any, change in population size. Meanwhile, for the second one, number 2, is a region of the curve where population is increased rapidly, almost rising vertically. Okay, this is also the same thing, exponential unrestricted growth. Okay, still on J shape. Okay, the growth rate of population accelerates. And this is about logistic population growth. Okay, population do not show continuous exponential increase. As population density increase, resources are depleted, which is many individual unutilized the resources. Then organisms reduce fertility and longevity, for example malnutrition, weak, susceptible to disease, and die. Okay, so then growth rate will slow or reduce rate of increase, yet population ceases to grow. Okay, logistic population growth. The growth curve is defined as the sigmoid curve, which is S-shaped. Okay, so carrying capacity, or K, is the maximum population of a particular species that can be supported indefinitely by a given habitat or area without damage to the environment. Okay, as you can see from here, this is what we call S-shape. Okay, so this is about logistic restricted growth, population size versus time. Okay, as you can see from here, this at the beginning the rate accelerates just beginning, and towards to reach until to point of maximum growth at the middle, the blue color dot, dark one. Okay, and the rate slow down after the increase, and the rate will slow down. Okay, again, this is also the same thing about S shape. But as you can see from here, again, this is about population size versus time. Number 1, number 2, and number 3 on the graph. Okay, as you can see from number 1, region of the curve where there is a little, if any, change in population size. Whereby on number 2, this is the characteristic density of the population, which is usually below the carrying capacity. This is the characteristic population size that is reached based on the regulatory effects of various abiotic and biotic factors, which are abiotic is actually about non-living component, and biotic is living component. Okay, note that populations do not stay exactly at the characteristic density, but fluctuate or oscillate around it. Okay, and number 3, the last one, this region of the curve is known as the carrying capacity, or the maximum population size that can be attained based on the availability of light, food, shelter, and etc. Most populations never approach the carrying capacity because for of the regulatory effects of both biotic and biotic factors. Okay. Okay, then this is again the same thing, number of individual and versus time. As you can see, and K, of course, carrying capacity, theoretical maximum population. Okay, then population grows rapidly at the beginning, yet reach until grows low, and after that growth stops. Population size stabilize at carrying capacity, or K. So this is actually about carrying capacity, or K, the last one on your right hand side. Okay, Okay, again the same thing. This is just a formula as I told before. You can just read yourself. Okay, this is another example for microorganism, okay, for microbes. Yeast, okay. As you can see from here, this is actually a number of yeast cell per counting square over hours. What you can see from here, of course, at the beginning, they are at low density in yeast population grows at high rate, and yet at higher densities growth slow and growth slows and then levels off, which means they might be going to die. Okay, this is another example for paramecium. As you can see from here, population grew slow for 5 days, then population grew rapidly for 5 days. After that, growth level of after 10 days, so fluctuate until they die. Okay, this is another one more example. Okay, settlement rapidly increased barnacle density, then at about 2 weeks the population level off. Okay, this is again the same thing for the buffalo, or when rinder pest eliminated at the beginning, and then buffalo population level off within a decade. Okay, this is another some more example, A, B, and C. Okay, for A is a paramecium, B Daphnia population, and last one for first seal. For seal. Okay, so this is what the graph showed, the increasing and the just static rate of the growth. Okay, so limits to population growth is about environment limits population growth by altering birth and death rate. Okay, divided into two: density dependent factors and density independent factors. Okay, we look at one by one about density dependent factors. What's that? Biotic factors like disease, parasitism, resource competition, including food. Some biotic living component factors, okay, can affect death rates depending on the population size. The death rate is related to the population size. The larger the population, the greater the death rate. Why it is so? If there are few individuals, there are lots of foods, and anyone is healthy. Okay, but if populations are large, there is less of food, and individuals become weak and prone to disease. Good example of this can be seen as the death rate of deer in the winter increases as the deer population gets larger. Next one is density independent factors. What's that? Okay, again, this is more into abiotic factors or non-living component. For example, weather, pollution, fire, flood, and volcanoes. Okay, some experimental factors can affect death rates independent of population size. As such, these factors will influence populations of any size. These factors may be most important in regulating the size of small animal and insect populations. Okay, that's all about chapter number 8A. See you next to the next slide in chapter number 8B. Thank you.